Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In Ezekiel 24, we have a chapter written at the time when Babylon was laying siege against Jerusalem. And in this particular chapter, we have Jerusalem being compared to a bronze pot, particularly in verses 9 through 14. And he says, heap on the wood, kindle the fire, completely cook the flesh, and mix in the spices, and let the bones be burned. Then stand it empty on its coals, so that it may be hot, and its bronze may glow, and its uncleanness may be melted in it, its rust brought to a complete end. And so the idea of, Jerusalem being this pot full of flesh, of course, representing the inhabitants, but then Babylon coming in and setting the city on fire. And this would symbolize God purifying the city from its uncleanness, from the sins and the iniquities that the people had committed inside Jerusalem. But then in verse 12, he makes a statement that's interesting. He says, "She has wearied me with toil, yet her great rust has not gone from her. Let her rust be in the fire." Basically, the Lord is saying, you're wearing me out. As a parent might tell a child, you're wearing me out. God had to work with Jerusalem time and time again. He put so much effort and work into Jerusalem to try to purify them, to try to cleanse them from their impurity, and they were wearing him out. Of course, here it's not speaking of God literally being worn out. Isaiah 40 tells us that the Lord never gets wearied or tired. But in a metaphorical sense, God has been worn out by their insistence on rebelling against him, still being involved in idol worship, and the list goes on. He says, "You have wearied me with toil, yet her great rust has not gone from her." And we can't but wonder that, maybe the Lord says that about us sometimes as well. That the Lord says, you know what? You're wearing me out. I have to work with you so much. Whenever we are resistant against the work of the Lord in our lives, the Lord has to put a lot of effort into us in correcting us, in instructing us, and disciplining us, and putting us on the right path, only for us to go back straying again, and then him having to chase us down and bring us back on the right path. It's a lot of work for him, and it's also a lot of pain for us. Think about how painful it was for Jerusalem to constantly have to go through these purification processes, particularly this one mentioned in the chapter where Babylon lays siege against her. And so what we walk away with is that we should work with the Lord and work in cooperation with the Lord when it comes to our purification. It'll be less work for him, and it'll be less painful for us. And everyone wins out in the end. So I guess the lesson that we get from this is, let's submit to God's will. Let's submit to what the Lord is doing in our lives as he's trying to purify us and cleanse us, and not resist that, but accept that and walk into that, and to be in cooperation with the Lord through that process. Again, everything goes much smoother when we allow that to happen. So these are things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.